98% of the marriages fail because of this reason. My name is Jaya, and I've been married for 13 years, and I think I know a thing or two about marriage and how a marriage can actually be successful. Not saying my marriage is perfect, but these 5 tools have helped my marriage absolutely grow. So number one, the reason why your marriage is probably failing or it's at a discord is because you have no spiritual relationship with your creator. Both of y'all are trying to find peace with one another, but you guys have never found peace with God. You must get inner healing first in order for you two to understand one another. Number two is prayer. First Peter chapter 3 verse 7 says, husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives and treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. See, it's very important that you guys, especially husbands, you treat your wife with consideration, understanding that you are the head of the marriage, not making her lesser, but understanding her emotions and how to deal with all of that stuff that comes in a marriage, fellas. Trust me, I know, I've learned the hard way. Number three, why marriages ultimately end in divorce or fail is because there's no communication. So one party cannot communicate what they're feeling and the other party doesn't listen, right? So there's a lot of miscommunication, and with miscommunication comes assumptions, and then you go look for communication somewhere else. This is one of the strategies of the devil, and why a lot of marriages break up, because y'all don't communicate with one another. It's time to communicate with each other. Number four, pride. Pride gets in the way of everything, but especially in a marriage. See, the Bible tells us that the two become one. So it's two people trying to live as one. So that's where communication comes into the picture. God, prayer, all these things correlate with one another, because if you have pride, then one party will want to communicate, but the other party is stuck on something that happened last week, that you picked out Subway and you picked out Taco Bell and one of y'all were offended, and that's pride. It's hard to let go of the little things because we're dealing with a lot of other things and we bring it into our marriage. So pride has to be removed. You got to understand that both of you are one. And the fifth and final one, why marriages ultimately end up in divorce, is because of unforgiveness. People have unforgiveness rooted deep in your heart. Your partner may have done something to you 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 15 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 months ago, but it's still so hard for you to let it go. And the reason why it is not growing, the reason why these marriages are not growing, is because you're letting a seed of unforgiveness in your heart. The Bible says that love covers a multitude of sins and that love keeps no record of wrong. When you both said your vows, you said through thick and thin, through the good days and the bad days, right? Some days are going to be bad and some days are going to be good. Remove the unforgiveness, remove the lack of communication, remove the pride, remove the lack of understanding God, and start to pray with one another and see your marriages grow. I'm out.